For Uncle Blob from 321 Penguins, the third episode in particular, The Amazing Carnival of Complaining. Well, it turns out that he's leading a triple life. And that is, first, Carnival Barker, which it's actually a cover-up to him being a real estate agent, which he's actually turning people into seeds of discontent and I quote, dispose of them, which also, he's a murderer. It's a crazy character that Big Idea came up with. Well, this villain took the cake, yet it was kid-friendly because Big Idea was a religious kids show that taught valuable lessons that I loved to watch growing up. But this this video in particular is about Uncle Blob. He's a fat alien guy who owned a carnival moon. Basically what he did, he lured people in to enjoy. He lured people in saying that his carnival was fun, but really he's telling he has 8 containers, 8 canister hat thingies that they puts on the pumpkin-headed kids and Zigil and Midgel, and they can't hear each other through them. All they could hear is Uncle Blob's voice saying why they shouldn't go on this ride. Which there were some... Even though the rides were working just fine, Uncle Blob still wouldn't let the penguins nor the pumpkin-headed kids go on. He wouldn't let Zigil, Midgel, or the pumpkin-headed kids go on any rides at all, even though the rides looked fun and nothing was wrong with them. Kevin, Fidgel, and Jason were the lucky ones, and they didn't have to listen to stupid Uncle Blob's song. Instead, they just went off and had fun. It wasn't the place, it was the owner that was the problem. And he caused everybody in that tram to complain non-stop until they turn into a seed of discontent and get launched off into space and invading planet R&R. And then there was non-stop complaining, but not until Jason. Well, before that, when Fidgel asked what was going on, Uncle Blob revealed his plan, that he was actually killing people by depopulating planets and doing planet genocide to build more real estate. And also I read online that he's actually one of the very few characters in Big Idea, one of the few villains in Big Idea that would actually kill people. And it's also more crazy that he's living a triple life. From carnival barker to real estate agent to murderer. That is messed up. Especially for a Big Idea villain. But this guy does it somehow. Now we know he gets away unpunished by escaping in a porta-potty escape pod. But I actually found out what actually happened to him. He merely started robbing banks until ended up in a western town, and then Zigil, being a cowboy, popped his balloon and he went zzz everywhere. And he ends up in jail, so we now know what happened to Uncle Blob. He didn't stay in that porta-potty forever, thank God. But 2 episodes earlier in the Runaway Pride at Light Station Kilowatt episode, 2 episodes prior to Planet Tell-A-Lie, we see that Midgel has an Uncle Blob keychain of Uncle Blob's head. Now, why would you take a souvenir from a carnival that you hated? I certainly wouldn't. Like, for example, when I went to Disneyland, not Disneyland, Disney World, I got a few good souvenirs. Because I like the place, but I don't know about going back now because I'm broke and I don't have any kids. And can't really go on any vacations right now. since I have the day off tomorrow, I'm staycationing, but that's off topic. Why did Midgel buy the keychain from our Uncle Blob's Carnival Moon, despite him hating the place? Well, it turns out that Big Idea just threw it in there just to add an Easter egg. I kind of find it to be a funny Easter egg, because his face is like... So yeah, we now know what happened to Uncle Blob. He escaped and started robbing banks instead. Still leading a triple life, because he wasn't a carnival broker anymore. Because the penguins... Well, Jason found out in particular what he was doing. And then Uncle Blob's carnival barker plan failed, and his real estate business also failed. And I guess he stopped killing people, and thus he just became a bank robber in the next few episodes. At the end of Moon Menace on Planet Tell-A-Lie, he became a bank robber in a western town, and then he was stopped by Cowboy Sigil and went to jail, where he belongs. So now his crimes are fraud, planet genocides, unlawful eviction, and theft. I mean grand larceny. He's done 4 crimes in his life. Well, it is unknown what his life was like before the Amazing Carnival of Complaining. But it turns out that he's a troubled man. Big Idea thought of a good villain, and he took the cake in the 3rd episode. And he was kind of funny, even though he was really not a very nice man at the end. Anyway, this video was about Uncle Blob. That no, he wasn't living a quadruple life. That would be very hard. He led a triple life in the 3rd episode, but in the 6th episode he only led 1 life, which was a bank robber, which is a lot less crueler than the other few crimes he committed in the 3rd episode. Maybe the Big Idea thought he was getting too violent. Well, not violent. Maybe he was getting too real for kids that flew over kids' heads at the time. But really, he's well, we probably want to know what happened in between Moon Menace on Planet Tell-A-Lie and between Amazing Carnival of Complaining and Moon Menace on Planet Tell-A-Lie. Well, I'm assuming that he landed somewhere in his escape pod porta potty, and then he decided to end his carnival barker business and real estate business and he decided to stop to do all of that, and then decided to rob banks instead, and probably become an entrepreneur for whatever reason. So yeah, and that's what Uncle Blob basically did. These were the crimes he did. He did fraud, planet genocides, grand larceny, and unlawful eviction. I'm not a judge or a lawyer, but if I had to choose a sentence for him, it would be 2 life in prison, and since he's an alien, I'm going to give him 467 years in prison with possible parole. Because I don't know how long aliens live to be. I've never seen an alien before. I kind of think they exist. I've never been to space. But he's a fictional character. That's that's the charge I would give him if he was sentenced for his crimes. Well, anyway, hope you enjoyed my video tonight, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.